Well, I guess it's time for Deadbeat Dad Vlog 21. Is that the number I'm on now? I had a video chat with my kids again tonight. I had kind of a nice conversation with Grace. It was short, and then she got called away, of course. She can't just, if it was up to her and it was up to me, she would probably stay on the video chat all night. But of course, her mother incentivizes her not to speak with me for more than 5 or 10 minutes. And I didn't get to see or talk to Everett at all. Zero. And of course, it's December 23rd, so I should have already had them now for the last 21st, 22nd, 23rd. This should be the third day that I would have had them. And I would be at the deluxe hotel with them that I spent all that money on. But I figured since I didn't have the kids, it was just kind of depressing to stay there, so I canceled tonight and just left. I mean, the only reason I got such a lavish hotel was to make my kids' Christmas awesome. And instead, they're in their ghetto apartment in Vista. And it is a ghetto apartment. I'm seeing it now. It's pathetic that somebody would choose to live that way. And I'm so sorry for both of my kids that they have to live that way. I really worked hard to make sure their life wasn't like that, Worked really hard. Worked, 70-hour weeks for, 4 or 5 years at least, to make sure that they didn't end up in a ghetto apartment in the barrio like that. But there they are because their mother chose that for them. Now their mom is emailing me, asking me to do like real estate stuff and all the stuff. And I emailed back right away. I was like, look, if I don't get visitation, you're not getting anything out of me. Not a signature, not a yes, not a no, not a penny. Until there's some kind of visitation, you will get no compliance from me whatsoever on anything. That's just where I'm at this point. She's kept my kids from me for 179 days. I've lost track. I mean, half a year. It's been more than half a year now. So, yeah. And, of course, she's also kept them from me during the court-assigned judgment, court judgment-ordered Christmas break, the 21st through the 26th. I'm supposed to have them right now. And then while I was on the conversation with Grace tonight, she said, oh, we're going to the mountains. I said, oh, that's fun. How long are you going to the mountains for? And she goes, we're going to live there. And I was like, for a couple of days? Are you coming back? Or are you moving to the mountains? Because, I mean, I don't know. They could just pick up and move to Germany or, I have no idea, I haven't seen them for 6 months. I have zero communication with their mother at this point, other than her making insane and irrational demands via email. While, of course, at the extreme height of parental alienation, I've never even heard of a case this extreme of parental alienation. I mean, I'm sure there's worse cases out there. Don't flood my channel with, like, one guy didn't even know he had kids for 20 years. I'm sure that's happened too. But this is definitely the most egregious case that I've ever been involved with personally or seen personally. Yeah, 6 months with zero visitation with a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, almost 6. I probably will get to see him before his 6th birthday because we've got court dates on the docket now. If she's been served. I hope she's been served by now. I gave the paperwork to the process server like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, so she should have been served by now, but maybe not. Maybe she's ducking out of town. Maybe that's why they're going to the mountains, so she doesn't get served. She's conniving. She's evil. I don't want to talk about her anymore. It's just beneath me. It's like I don't care about her except for the fact that she's keeping my kids from me. Other than that, if she were dead or whatever, I would just be like, I wouldn't care at all, I mean, I would care a little bit because it'd be better for the kids because then they'd be with me eating organic food and going on hikes and, not watching TV all day, not being dropped off at the YMCA, not being fed GMO garbage and, high fructose corn syrup and living with strange men who are professional killers. He's probably not a professional killer. He's probably just like does some super stupid paperwork job or something. But still, I mean, he's working for the largest mercenary army on the planet, so it's not exactly like his moral compass is like straight and narrow, right? Anyway, yeah. I really don't care about either of them. I just want to see my kids. For their sake, more than mine. Parental alienation is a pretty extreme version of child abuse. And my kids have been subjected to that for 6 months now. So, including the court-ordered visitation I'm supposed to be having with them right now. So, yeah, Everett and Grace, I'm sorry. I emailed Everett pictures of the some of the Christmas activities that I was going to take them to. I didn't do... I said I was going to do a bunch of them and take a bunch of pictures and videos. My heart wasn't in it. I mean, I don't really want to go ice skating by myself. Like with my kids, of course I wanted to go ice skating, or caroling, or go to Disneyland, or do all this fun stuff, but without my kids, it's like, I'm just going to save money, because I'm, I just barely started a new job, and I haven't really gotten paid yet, and go to the gym, and eat healthy, and do the things that I normally do, because, I mean, why would I spend all that money and time and energy without the kids? Didn't make a lot of sense to me, so. And I mean, mostly though, my heart's not in it, It's hard for me to get motivated to do anything, I mean, I show up to work, and I, do the things I need to do to survive, but it's like, having your kids ripped from you for a whole half of a year like this, especially when you were the primary caregiver for like, the previous year and a half or whatever. It's just, I mean, what's the point? What's the point of life right now for me? The point of life for me was to take absolutely the best care of my kids that I could, That's why I made all that money and bought that awesome place for them and planted all those raspberry bushes, fruit trees, all that stuff. Heirloom chickens, the whole bit. I mean, my dad took the chickens that were still there, and he says they're still laying. He says nobody else is in town. Nobody else's chickens in town are laying because it's wintertime, and usually chickens lay less in the winter. And he says our chickens are still laying in the wintertime. So, I mean, how awesome was that Everett and Grace got to go and collect fresh eggs out of their own yard, fresh apples off their own tree with their own dad. And now they live in the ghetto with some random Navy dude 4 this year for that egregious cesspool of a woman that I used to call a wife. God, I don't even want to like think about her or talk about her, but it's like she's keeping my kids from me still. 180 days now? 179? What day is this? And I don't even get to talk to my son. Everett wasn't even on the video chat. Didn't even talk to him. And, there's one chair, Grace, bless her heart. She talks to me every time. She's so sweet. I know she would just stay on the phone with me, probably for an hour or more if her mom would let her, but she wasn't. She's always like, there was something going on in the background. I couldn't hear exactly what, but Grace was like, Grace was trying to touch something, and then I heard my ex's voice say, you're not allowed to touch that while you're on the phone with Dad. So, was it dessert? It's probably dessert, huh? Some kind of pie, ice cream, but not until you're off the phone with Dad. So, I'm going to put the ice cream right here where you can see it. Try and shorten that phone call as quick as I can. But you're not allowed to touch it until Dad's off the phone. So, I mean, just the evil that requires to get to that level of depraved insanity is just, it's mind-boggling. It is literally mind-boggling. And I was married to that. I'm so ashamed of myself that I would choose somebody who's capable of that kind of evil, vicious, cruel insanity to have kids with. I'm so embarrassed I'm so embarrassed. I mean, I had other girlfriends in the past, That's been hard. That's been a hard journey for me too. It's like I've had a few ex-girlfriends from the past that I probably still would have been friends with, but I was married. So of course, once you're married, you cut off any ties with ex-girlfriends. It's inappropriate, right? But I haven't been married for like a year now, and I ran into one of my ex-girlfriends the other day, and she's just a wonderful person, like a super devoted mom and really kind, and it's just like, man, I could have chose her to have kids with. Instead, I chose the most evil, vile garbage I've ever met in my... I've never heard of anybody doing something this atrocious to their own children. It's unfathomable. I literally can't fathom the mindset that somebody would have to be in to abuse their own children in this manner. It's really sad. Maybe it's a little extra sad because it's Christmas time, but honestly, I think it would be just, almost as sad no matter what time of year it was, Sad for my kids. I'm sad for me too, but nothing like being sad for your kids who are being abused by their parent who's there and being powerless to do anything about it, It's like, there's nothing I can do. I've done everything I can do. I've been to the courthouse 5, 7, 8 times. I've been calling the lady at the courthouse. There's her number on a Post-it note right there. Calling. I finally get everything filed. It takes months to get everything filed. I've got a 2-month backlog. I finally get everything filed, and now the court date is until January, or the court date's in February. We're supposed to have mediation in January, and it's just how's that going to go? I'm going to show up to mediation and she's not going to be like, oh yeah, here's visitation. After over 7 months of not letting me see my own kids, or not letting the kids see me. That's the real crime here. It's child abuse to alienate your kids from one of their parents. It's parental alienation. It's a very serious form of child abuse that she's been engaged in now for 6 months. And by the time I do get to see them, it will have been 7 or 8 months. So, it's unbelievable, that poor sweet Grace, she's 4. She loves her dad, And then, and then for her mom to put a bowl of ice cream in front of her and be like, don't touch that until you hang up on your dad. It's just the psychology of that. It's just so twisted. It's just so wrong. It's so absolutely wrong. I just can't. And that's who my beautiful little sweet little angel 4-year-old lives with, day in and day out. Well, not day in and day out. Half the time she's dumped off at the YMCA, and probably half the time she's living with some strange random Navy dude loser, who's a total coward. I ran into him in person. He wouldn't look me in the eye. He was petrified. And I'm a big dude. I get it. He's afraid. He's afraid. And if I was a little scrawny dude like that, I might be afraid too. But still, come on. He's living with my kids. Look me in the eye, shake my hand, say, hey, I'm sorry about what happened to you. Just know that when I'm here with your kids, I'm going to do the best that I can by them. But obviously he doesn't have any kind of character or moral fiber like that, or he wouldn't be involved in this scheme of alienating the kids from their father, especially when I did nothing wrong. I didn't cheat on her. I didn't I wasn't texting other women in the middle of the night. That was all her, And for her to turn around and do this ultimate punishment against me and my own kids and the kids, punish the kids for her infidelity. That's what she's doing right now. She's punishing my kids, her own kids, because of the fact that she couldn't stop texting other guys in the middle of the night. It's just how do you get there mentally? How do you get there? I'm on. This is a real question. Please explain to me how somebody gets there in their own mind, because I literally can't fathom it. So to punish poor little sweet crap, she's 4, she's 4 years old, and she's so sweet, and she's such a good girl. Be like, no, you can't see your dad because I was texting other men. What? How does Grace deserve any of this? Well, Everett, when you get to see this, just know that you not video chatting with me was very wrong, young man. And I know that your mom and your stepdad have probably disincentivized speaking with me in every way possible. I mean, it's obvious. I'm hearing it happening on the video chat. So, and I'm sorry for that, bud. But, you know, you should know better. You're almost 6 now, and I taught you better than that. You do the right thing. And you know what the right thing is here. You know what feels right. And what feels right is when Dad says, Everett, come talk to me, you come talk to me. Okay, bud? I was pretty disappointed by you not coming and talking to me on the video chat tonight. And I know it's hard, and I know your mom's put you through hell. And I'm sorry. Believe me, I'm sorry. Believe me, I'm out here. This is what this video right here is all about. Documenting this process of hell that you've been put through. And I'm sorry. But, you should have still came and video chatted with me tonight, bud. I think you know better than that. When you watch this, when you're like 10 or 11 or whatever. You're a good boy. I know this isn't your fault. I'm so sorry this happened to you, Everett and Grace. I'm so sorry that your own mother would do this to you. Merry Christmas. I'm sorry that she didn't give me the address in time for me to get your presents to you. But just know I've got all your presents waiting. And presents that other people bought too. You know, I got a whole pile of presents for you guys waiting for when I finally get to see you. I love you both, and I'm just so sorry.